If you had invested $100 into Berkshire Hathaway back in 1978 when Charlie Munger first joined, that $100 would be worth $396,000 today. This is the power of compounding 20% annually for 46 years. There are three significant questions here. One is, how on earth did Charlie Munger help Berkshire Hathaway grow so much? Number two is, why could Buffett not have done this by himself? And finally, how can we learn from Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett so that we can achieve this ourselves? When Charlie Munger had first joined Berkshire in 1978, the company had grown too big for its own good. Buffett had done incredibly well up until this point, buying cigar butt companies that were incredibly cheap but only had one puff left in them. These companies were easy to find when Berkshire Hathaway was small, but as the company became bigger, Buffett was buying riskier and riskier businesses. Just before Charlie Munger joined Berkshire Hathaway, Buffett had just bought a windmill company. Buffett knew nothing about the windmill industry. These unusual and risky acquisitions required a lot of work to liquidate and even risked losing billions of dollars for Berkshire Hathaway shareholders. As a result, Buffett was in desperate need of a new strategy that would enable him to continue growing Berkshire Hathaway with less risk. Munger didn't just reduce the risk for Berkshire Hathaway, though. His strategy was so successful that it led Berkshire Hathaway to unprecedented new heights. They became so successful and they were so great at explaining the logic behind their trades that their annual meetings became known as the Woodstock of the investing world. Buffett's greatest strength and flaw was that he was a disciple of Benjamin Graham. Benjamin Graham taught some of the world's most successful investors. It's incredible how many super investors came from Benjamin Graham's classroom. The key thing that Benjamin Graham taught was that price is everything. Essentially, almost all stocks are worth buying so long as you are buying at the right price. While working at one of Warren Buffett's cigar butt companies, Blue Chip Stamps, Munger took some of the surplus cash from Blue Chip Stamps and invested it in something that Buffett would have never bought, a candy company priced at 20 times earnings. Hilariously, Buffett has been quoted saying that he would not have paid $100,000 more for See's candy, and yet it would become a staple of his investing style going forward into the future, and it's the entire reason any of us have heard of Berkshire Hathaway today. Munger admitted that they almost made a terrible mistake by not buying this business. This is amusing because, as Buffett himself stated, we put $25 million into it and we've gotten over $2 billion in pre-tax income. Essentially, a $1,000 investment would have returned $80,000 in earnings alone. We should never forget the teachings of Benjamin Graham, and his book, link in the description, is well worth reading merely because he actually states how he values a business. While most big investors today rely on a lot of ambiguous reasons as to why they purchase stocks, Benjamin Graham was extremely literal in how he determined whether a business was good or bad value. To me, this is incredibly unique in the investing world. While Benjamin Graham taught Warren Buffett that price is incredibly important, Charlie Munger managed to teach him, and the rest of the world, us included, that price isn't everything. And the incredible thing you need to do in order to be rich is to remember this: